Is that I want to know? Was there something specifically that he said right to their face that they immediately picked up stones and killed him?
You tell me.
You don't know?
No, you read the Bible, so tell me.
Yeah. Okay, good. Have you read the Bible?
Yeah,
Okay, what's the fifth book in the New Testament?
Acts.
Good. Now, in Acts, Stephen told them right to their face they were uncircumcised in their hearts. That is probably the most offensive statement that he could have ever said in the human language to them. If he had called them child molesters, if he had called them rapists or murderers, that would pale in comparison to calling them uncircumcised in their hearts. From their point of view, that was very crude. Okay. Now, I could have said the full thing when I said F you. I said F you in order to be more discreet. I said F you to show my ire of how badly these people conduct themselves. Okay.
So that makes it better.
I don't think sometimes strong language is always off limits. I think sometimes it is.
Do you do that in person too?
Do I do that in person? Generally no, because the people that I deal with in person don't behave like the cockroach knuckle dragging atheists that I encounter on Discord. They act like human beings.
You know, Darth,
I would like to hear
in the discussion sections at Tom Rabbit's channel. Quite basically, I'm interacting and answering objections of atheists there. Very often, actually, the topic is not about you, Darth, but they always come back and complain about you and say that you're this and that and so forth. I mean, it is remarkable.
You know what's remarkable? They're so concerned about decorum, yet they totally throw that to the wind and they encourage and applaud people who don't have decorum. Isn't that amazing that they single me out? See, they're absolute hypocrites.
Before we move off the topic, I'd like to hear this gentleman defend his claim that because you sometimes use profanity even when you shouldn't, and you admit that therefore that means
I apologize for it. Yeah.
that therefore that means Christianity is worthless. That's what he
The
said.
truth. I think that's the same guy that
No,
changed
that's
his
what
name
James
from
said.
Arnold yesterday. Yeah. Hey, didn't you go by username of Arnold something yesterday?
No, it
You
wasn't
got a
Arnold something. It was Arnold Braunschweiger.
Okay, so it was Arnold something. You're a
Oh,
troll.
wait
Yeah,
a
it was
minute.
Arnold
Wait a
Braunschweiger.
minute. Hold on a second. Gang. Is this your first encounter with me?
If you knew, you wouldn't have to ask that question.
I'm waiting for an answer.
Yeah, that was your answer.
Okay, I'd like an answer to my question. Okay, if you're sincere,
I just gave it to you.
Okay, do you have a prior history with me?
If you were smart, you wouldn't have to ask that question.
Okay, I want you to answer the question so everyone in the room to see if you're being transparent.
I just did, dude.
Okay, hey, listen, do you want to be red muted for a troll?
No, I'm not listening.
Of course
Okay,
he
yeah.
does. He doesn't want to defend what he just said.
He got exposed. Okay, he previously has sent me a nasty message. Okay, so this guy actually has an axe to grind with me. Okay, all right. And by the way, what he sent me, was not anything that I did to him. It was just a sleazy personal attack upon me. Okay, so he's acting in here like he's really concerned about the Bible and me being consistent to Christian norms.
He's what you call a concerned troll.
Yeah, he's a concerned troll. But then when I asked him about his prior history with me, he flees. He flees. As the late great talk show host Bob Grant, he's a fake, a phony, and a fraud.
Yep. No, Darth, they asked me if in these chats they ask me if I am fine with your behavior, if I condone it, and I reply and I say it again and very clearly. It is not my style. I am not here or to say how others should behave or to conduct or something like that. I just think that, at least for me, when I see that a conversation with an atheist is not fruitful, they troll or so, I simply stop it and say, hey, it's over, goodbye, have all the best to you, and that's it. Now, you have another way to finish a conversation. You like actually to classify those people. I don't think it is productive, honestly. And I keep saying it. I don't like it, but hey, I mean, am I to prescribe to others how they should conduct?
Well, anyway, the guy who made the comment was exposed as a troll and a fraud. Okay. So let's see. Foxy's not still in here. No, he isn't. Yeah. So what you need to do is, you have to develop the powers of the Force. You got to have be able to wield that lightsaber, and then it shuts their mouth. Okay.
Pretty sure that's the mute powers that does that.
No. People get muted because they behave badly. Okay. People don't get muted for vigorously debating. Okay. And in fact, I give people repeated warnings over and over again. So you can stop with this childish little taunt. They get muted because I simply or merely disagree with them. Okay. Right, Scarlett?
Actually, I've tried to have a conversation with you.
Yeah. Scarlett, we're not doing this. Okay. If you persist in your heckling, you're going to go on the naughty boy list because, in fact, you are a boy. Okay, you're a man pretending to be a woman. Okay, but every time you come in the room, you want to come in here and you just want to taunt. You have a long history of jumping in, pretending that you want to debate like an adult, but you don't. Okay, so I would suggest to you that you stop the repeated tauntings of recent vintage, so you stay off the naughty man list. Okay.
Right, got it. I'll just stop talking to not upset you.
No, it's not that I'm upset. I want to minimize the level of trolls because I want to have serious conversations.
I am not trolling you. I've never trolled you.
All right, okay, we're done. Okay,
Darth,
you're going.
sometimes
Okay.
I think that these people are so used to their own deceptive ways that they actually believe that they're not trolling. They've deceived themselves into believing.
I know. Well, this guy has, male paraphernalia between his legs, and he has male chromosomes. Yet he fantasizes that he's a woman. So if he's deluded about that, why wouldn't he be deluded about other things?
Wow.
Okay. All right. So yeah. So that heckling tranny is going to go on the list.
Now, Darth, I do want to hear you lay that out. Now, explain the case, or tell me instances in which you think it would be appropriate to use profane language.
If you hit your thumb with a hammer.
Okay. Now, that would be an instance to use profane language, but do you think it would be appropriate?
Sure.
Okay. So when is it not appropriate?
In certain social settings where people would find it unnecessarily offensive. But for example, if I've seen situations where, and by the way, I'm not defending that every time I use it that I'm right. I'm not defending that at all. But you have to ask yourself a question. Why is it that I get angry at times? Is it because I'm being a jerk? Or is it because I have I have to deal with this never-ending conveyor belt of scumbag heckling and trolling atheists? Okay. You see, they never take stock of their chronic bad behavior, ever. Do you ever hear the atheist criticizing the other atheists for their
Steve McRae,
their awful behavior? No. I was sitting in this room for a half an hour listening to all the heckling and the catcalling and the abuse that they were heaping on Foxy. And then Foxy invited me to join the conversation. Okay. And other than just a couple of the people heckling, and then it got stopped after it was warned, then all the heckling stopped. And then a couple of people tried to step up to the plate. who aren't regular trolls, but none of the other regular atheists who've heckled before stepped up to the plate, did they? Gee, I wonder why.
It's almost like if they can't hyena pack you, they get real scared.
Yeah. And
I really like, Darth, that you bring some authority into the room, because every time when I come in and you are not in, I really fast leave because there is no order. Everyone overtalks everyone.
They complain about me, but they don't complain about.
Well, that's not true. Actually, we have.
Do you think it's because that they?
When Darth is not here, we do have debates. But when
that's
Darth
not
is
the
here,
that's not
we get
the issue.
Muted,
okay. Listen, Joy, please stop lying. Okay.
I'm not
people
lying.
get muted
Darth,
for bad.
I'm
people get muted for bad behavior. Okay.
What do you mean bad behavior for trying to?
Listen, little man. We're not going through this over and over. This has been going on for years. I'm not going to repeat the same thing. We all know that how the atheists play the hyena gangbang game.
What do you mean?
Okay?
What game, man?
Okay, Joy, we're done. Joy, we're done. Joy, have a nice day. We're done. Okay? Stop pretending like you don't know. Okay?
He's like a hyena with blood dripping from his jaw. What pack?
Yeah.
I don't know. What pack are you talking about?
Yeah, Joy would be right after the Hindenburg crash. He drives by it, with the flames still burning in the air, and he says, "What crash?" I mean, wow. Push away the bomb. Call 911. Tell them that you're delusional, Joy. Okay, everybody knows, even the atheists, about how many of them, a good number of them, gangbang. They were gangbanging Foxy, but when I came in, the hyena gangbang. When I came in,
that term, Darth, is
okay.
Really not
hyena dog pile. Okay, hyena dog piling. Okay, how's that? Is that better for you? The word. Listen, the word has more than one reference. It just doesn't always mean a sexual reference. But if you prefer dog piling,
Brojo,
I'll
why
use
are you
that.
thinking about that, Brojo?
Yeah.
Where's your mind at? Let's talk about your Faith and Films podcast, if it's appropriate for you to have that.
Okay. Do you know that the term gangbangers can refer to groups of young thugs in various inner cities who go and attack?
Racist.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Wait, but in the sense that you said it hyena gangbang, like it was a gangbang.
Yeah.
No, gangbang. A gangbang can, if it's intended by the user, refer to a sexual situation, but it also can refer to young youths. Since Joe Bro doesn't like me saying thugs. Young thugs marauding in inner cities and attacking a person where they all go after the person, and I can show you news instances where they refer to it as a gangbang attack, and it doesn't have a sexual reference.
Sure.
Okay.
Can we?
Sure. I don't mind the word.
I'll just say one more thing. More thing. Okay. They were all dogpiling, heckling, trolling Foxy, and because Foxy is more tolerant than I am. But when I came in the room, okay, and I sat in here for over a half an hour listening to the foolishness of these knuckle dragging troglodyte atheists, right, dogpiling on Foxy. I was then invited to join the conversation while I kept my mouth shut the whole time, listening to their stupidity. I joined the conversation. Then much of the heckling stopped, but a few of the people decided to heckle. After 4 warnings, I pulled the trigger, okay, and I toggled the mute switch for the naughty boy list, and all the heckling stopped, right? And all of the regulars in here who were jumping on him wouldn't step up to the plate and defend the proposition. And I said, who will defend the proposition that you do not know that God exists?
Well, a few atheist heroes emerged from the masses. A couple of them.
But those people who spoke with me afterwards were not a part of the hyena gangbang, Joe Bro. Okay.
Oh, they were a separate.
No, those people who spoke to me were not a part of the cabal. right? But the people who were piling on Foxy were all of a sudden silent when I said, who will step up? Who will step up and defend the proposition? I do not know God exists. I said, step up and defend that to me. And there was dead silence from the regular gangbangers.
Well, Darth, you're gonna mute them because they disagree with you, and so that's probably why.
If you keep that up, Joe Bro, you're not getting a Christmas card.
It's kind of true though.
Yeah, who said? Notice people love the heckle. Oh my goodness.
People say I mute them. I want people to disagree with me because it provides us an opportunity to spotlight the wisdom and the truth of God's word up against the foolishness of autonomous reasoning. I don't want to mute people who disagree with me, but I do want to mute people who are either heckling, trolling, or who are in perpetuity evading and dodging and refusing to have an adult interaction while they're pretending that they do. Right. And then they pull sleazy remarks, okay, in the conversation rather than debate. I'm a big boy. I can handle some insults. But if you want to just sit there and say, if you want to give me an answer and I say, well, that doesn't address the question, you go, oh, well, it does. You just don't like the answer. I mean, this is fit for 14-year-olds. Okay. So do we have any atheists in the room? And you'll get equal time. You will not be overspoken. Is there any atheist who wants to step up right now and defend the proposition, I do not know that God exists? No. Cowards. Because remember, folks, they say, I do not know that God exists. That's the equivalent of saying all the facts that I do know don't necessitate referencing the necessity of God. Can they defend that? No, they can't.
A video for Darth and some of his inappropriate references. Hold on.
I would argue, but again, I know it won't go anywhere.
Defend it. Go ahead.
We'll just digress into physics, and then you'll just get upset.
No, I want you to defend. How does physics disprove the existence of God? I'd love to hear that one.
Again, it just falls on observations.
The conservation of energy, the first law of thermodynamics, does not support your contention, because ask any credentialed scientist, it is not a statement of the eternality of matter, sir.
Is this the guy who appeals to the first law but dismisses the second law?
Yeah. Are you the same one from the other day?
No.
Okay.
Okay, make your case.
The first law of thermodynamics, is it a stipulation of the eternality of matter and energy? Yes or no?
Let him make
Otangelo, stop! Spyro, is the first law of thermodynamics a stipulation of the eternality of matter and energy?
The first law of thermodynamics just basically has to do with the size of the universe and how much order and disorder.
You're not addressing my question. You want to answer my question?
Repeat it. Repeat it one more time.
Is the first law of thermodynamics an absolute stipulation of the eternality of matter and energy?
Deep down inside, I would like to say no.
I want an answer.
I would say no.
Good. Then you can no longer use it as a defeater for God. So
why
is it
thermodynamics for the defeater for God?
Because you just told me that you could use physics to defeat the existence of God, and then you invoke the first law. In order for you to do that, in part, you would have to defend the eternality of matter and energy, but you completely backed away from that.
Yeah, I'm saying that matter and energy, I never said, well, energy would be eternal.
You're okay. Can you defend that?
Probably mathematically I could.
No, mathematics don't stand in causal relations, sir.
Here we go.
Mathematics are abstract objects. Even Einstein did not believe in the absolute 100% complete correspondence between mathematics and the world of physics. Okay? The fact that our world around us operates uncannily in a mathematical way does not mean that mathematics dictates physicality. Okay? That's reifying mathematics.
Mathematics describe.
No, mathematics, okay, is used to illustrate how the physical world operates because there's an uncanny resemblance to the physicality and mathematics, okay? Mathematics per se is abstract objects and their relationship to other abstract objects does not stand in causal relations, sir. Now, do you have another line of reasoning of why you don't know there is a God?
Again, as far as my physics backgrounds go, all I can say is that energy, as far as I'm concerned, is eternal.
And where did you get that from other than out of the figment of your imagination?
Well, again, it's from observation.
Yeah, dude, why do you lie?
What am I
You're a
lying
lie. You listen to me. Do you think I was born yesterday? You couldn't possibly observe any phenomenon, okay, and say that the observed phenomenon is eternal. What did you observe that let you know that energy is eternal? What did you observe? Could you tell me what that is?
Well, as far as we observe through experiment, that we can never destroy or create it.
Yeah, again, that does not get you. You see, you're repeating the same dog vomit all over again. The first law of thermodynamics does not get you to the eternality of matter or energy, which you have already conceded to. So why are you repeating something that you have abandoned?
Listen, the way I see the universe and beyond the universe is, can I give you an example?
When you say you see the universe, do you mean literally see or do you mean conceptualize?
I would say conceptualize.
Okay, good. So, and this conceptualization, how do you know it's true?
Again, I have to go back to the mathematics of the description of
No, mathematics does not stand in causal relations.
Well, how could you mathematically describe the universe if you can't if you don't have universal observations?
And by the way, do you understand? Have you ever heard of Gödel's incompleteness theorem?
Yes.
Good. Then, do you accept that?
Yes.
Good. Then you couldn't argue mathematically for the eternality of matter and energy. Game over. Lights out.
No. His theorem basically says that if you have a set, you can create a larger set to include the set that.
No,
you
sir.
thought was
It's that the system can never be complete. There's always going to be missing factors. Okay. Gödel's incomplete. What do you think incompleteness stands for?
It means you can't prove all facts.
That's right. Now, here's the bottom line is you're BSing. I know it, you know it, and everyone in the room knows that you're BSing. So who do you think you're fooling? The answer is no one. Okay? You are regurgitating the same canard that the second law of thermodynamics demonstrates the eternality of matter and energy, which it does not. Now you're regurgitating mathematics again. That doesn't get you to the eternality of the ontological world. So, how did you determine that you don't know that God exists?
Well, first of all, if God existed, his fingerprints would be all over the observable world.
Okay. Now, so that's a claim that all the facts that you're acquainted with do not necessitate referencing the necessity of God. How do you demonstrate that statement?
And you look out into the universe and you don't see God's fingerprints all over the place. Therefore,
You're repeating the same claim that you haven't defended. How did you determine that even a singular fact does not stand in causal relations to God as ultimate and absolute? Have you determined, listen carefully, and don't dodge the question. If you have determined that a single fact does not stand in causal relations to God as the ultimate precondition, have you in fact determined what is ultimate and the precondition of that given fact?
the only thing I can say is ultimate beyond our universe is what our universe exists in.
No, sir. What is it that is ultimate, that is the ultimate precondition of all facts? What is it?
It's the stuff that our universe exists came out of.
Okay. Aren't you embarrassed right now?
Darth, if I said that our
Are you?
universe,
You're not embarrassed? Well,
If I
maybe you have slight autism because sometimes people have social problems. Okay, what you just said is absolute hot steaming garbage.
if I said our
What is
universe
it that is
emerged-
singular? Listen to me. You said stuff. I want to know what is singularly ultimate, because if you appeal to a plurality of things cannot be ultimate. It's not coherent to say that a plurality of discrete and independent particulars are ultimate. What is it that is singularly ultimate, sir? That's not God.
It's basically the intrinsic space that our universe.
Okay, we're done with you. We're done. You have the mind of a child. You're just making up BS and you're wasting my time. Thank you. Have a nice day. We're done. No, we're done. You are not operating in good faith. You're just making up bull crap as you go on. Okay, everyone knows you're making this crap up as you go along. Everyone in this room knows this. I know it. You know it. Everyone else. So stop with your little performance. Okay, go take your Ritalin and have a nice day.
And yesterday he said that he gets paid by people to make models of how the universe works.
Yeah, he's full of crap. Okay, he's totally full of crap. Okay, we're done with him. He makes up crap. Then when it gets debunked, then he recycles it all over again, and he wastes our time. Okay, any other atheists? I mean, I'm willing to listen and debate with somebody who vigorously disagrees with theism or the Christian worldview. But when somebody just starts ranting like a 14-year-old, all right, and just starts making crap up that is just absolute nonsense, what is the point of continuing with this person when they've already demonstrated they're just going to make up crap as they go along? And they give these vague, ethereal, non-specific, ambiguous statements.
I have a follow-up question on a point he made, right?
Yeah, real quick. Hey, Praise, I saw that you dealt with Michael, the Canadian atheist, the other day. Are you there, Praise?
Yo, what's up, Darth? Yeah.
I haven't seen that yet, but he was a complete mental case when I tangled with him on Modern Day Debate.
Yeah, he's kind of belligerent with some of his ideas about God. It's just the same old atheist talking points like, the Old Testament's evil, etc.
I know. I'll have to watch that. I haven't watched it yet, but I saw that you were tangling with him. I would have loved to have joined that, but there was no join link. Okay, so the other gentleman, go ahead.
Shout out.
Yeah,
I gave you a shout out there. I love Freeze Up because he says, "Are you a Freeze Up?" And I go, "Hell yeah, I'm a Freeze Up. I listen to Darth."
Yeah, and just say, and you're a Freeze Up. A guy said to me, "You're a Freeze Up as constitutionalist, and I said, and so are you.
Exactly. Everyone's a trees up. Great point.
Yeah, I know. Go ahead, sir. Somebody wanted to say something.
Yeah, thank you. No, I was just wondering what was the problem with there being many particulars that serve as like the ultimate grounding of everything?
Okay, good question. Okay. In order for something to be ultimate, right, it's going to have to be absolute within itself, self-contained, unconditionally non-dependent, eternal, and it will have to be independent of everything that is not itself. Okay.
Can I?
And that everything, yeah, just give me a second. And everything else that is not the ultimate will have to depend and derive upon that which is ultimate. Okay. So that's why a plurality of things that are discrete and independent from each of the other particulars, right, can't be ultimate, right? Because all those other things don't derive and depend on each of the particulars. So it's not coherent to say that a plurality of things that is not singular is ultimate. Okay, go ahead, Parakeet.
I was just going to say that when we use the term ultimate, we mean it to be singular, peerless. It has no peers.
Yeah. I'll
Now,
have
if you
to
want
add
to
from now on
claim,
singularly ultimate.
now if you want to claim that there's multiple independent grounds for things, you could do it, but then none of them would be ultimate. You'd just have a bunch of peers.
All you would just be simply saying is each of the particulars, whatever they may be, are just simply eternal and absolute within themselves, right? But none of them would be ultimate. Okay, and then you would then what you would just have is a chance world. A chance world is where there's nothing singularly in control of everything, right? This is why it's hysterical when unbelievers want to go, we don't need God. We can explain everything through the laws of physics. I mean, it's so stupid, it's beyond belief. And we even have people like Lawrence Krauss offering this idiocy, right? So these regularities, why do they exist? Are they eternal? Is each individual regularity, is it discrete and independent from the rest of them? See, they cannot answer these questions. When they say we don't need God, we can explain everything the laws of nature, all they are simply doing is reformulating and restating Romans chapter 1. They chose not to acknowledge God, and their foolish hearts became darkened. It's simply.
By the way,
yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to make a point. I know the guy Arnold Bushwauer was in, or I don't know what his last name was. Arnold something. His last name was B. He's a troll. So I was trying to talk to him and ask him how he knew that God didn't exist yesterday, and he was completely and utterly evading and dodging the question. So I don't think it'll be productive if he comes back to talk with him.
Oh yeah, I was
know he
here
wanted
for
to
that.
talk to you earlier.
J. Robin
Yeah, I
asked
think
one question, and the guy asked like J. Robin like 7 questions, and J. Robin kept answering them and kept asking him the same question. And finally at the end, we had to ask him, have you just decided you're just not going to answer the question? And basically,
this is the kabuki dance that they do. Like, for example, when Tonlock called in to talk with Shallow Shannon Q Ducklips, okay, he questioned her on her statement of positive atheism. What's that?
Sorry, just cleared my throat.
Well, why do you have an open microphone?
It's closed now.
Okay. Well, I'm going to put a note down in your account. If it happens again, I'll remember. Okay.
Yep.
Throat clearing, 1 demerit.
So Tonlock was inquiring from Shallow Shannon about her positive atheism. And then she did the usual verbal kabuki dance. Oh, what is God? Well, I think God is coherent. But you can't have your cake and eat it too. If you're a positive atheist, then the word God is coherent, and you're saying that that entity does not and cannot exist. If God is simply just incoherent, meaning it's unintelligible, then you're not stipulating whether it exists or not. It just doesn't mean anything. Okay, but she's not intellectually sophisticated to understand the cognitive dissonance in that view. So all through the interaction, she started doing the usual atheist talking points. And then Tonlock, after he got through carefully defining God for her, okay, you see, they have no problem talking about God, but the moment a Christian starts talking about God, they go, what is God? What's God? Right? So after he repeatedly defined what God was in terms of a basic definition that would be acceptable, he said, so I want to know about how, and I'm paraphrasing him, how it is that, you know, God doesn't exist. Well, she was completely unprepared, and this is about more than halfway through, if not 3/4 of the way through the interaction. And he said, I just want to know how it is that there's no God, you know, because you claim positive atheism. And she didn't know what to say. So what were the first words that came out of her duck lips? It was, well, what's God? But you see, the whole time that Tonlock was on, he had already answered that question. So why was she asking what was God again? It's because this is their little shtick. This is their little vaudeville act that they do. They bait and switch, bait and switch, bait and switch. They pretend to answer questions and then scurry down some unrelated rabbit trail. And as I'm quite well known for saying, this is what they do. This is why the atheists are a laughingstock, even the professional atheists. How come? Yeah, go ahead.
I am reading here from the Restream of Supreme Leader streams, and Jefferson Spatchcock says evil exists.
I was just about to say that.
As a fact, it must reference God, which means evil is contingent upon God.
Evil is
Hasn't Jefferson Spatchcock been in the chat before?
Well,
he never joined.
I've interacted on numerous occasions with him, and he's simply a argumentative contrarian. Okay, and I've bent over backwards trying to be patient with the guy, right? But he's just very argumentative. He's very similar to King Xerxes, right? And Jefferson Spatchcock is also his brother with what's his name? What's it? Is it Jay Spatchcock?
Jay Patrick.
Yeah, but if you want to see something to show you where his heart really lies, go onto his channel and see his review of my interaction with Dr. Josh Bowen on his atheism. Okay, and he literally had a meltdown, a hemorrhoidal attack at my asking Dr. Josh Bowen questions where Josh crashed and burned. He did worse than 15-year-olds do. Okay. Watch the video. It's fun.
Yeah, Josh was very shallow. Worse than shallow Shannon Q.
No. It's, look, you need to show respect. Shallow Shannon Q duck lips. And by the way, if people find fault with me for saying duck lips, I'm not the one who's constantly puckering my lips in publicity photographs and on camera. Okay. But yeah, some of these regular talking atheists are fun. They are very entertaining. You know, Shallow Shannon, Eric Pernboy Murphy, Matt Delabloviator.
Okay, Darth. Jefferson is answering here. Bent over backwards. I was bent over the Reformation server after answering one question.
No, it's so tiring with their lies and their delusions. Okay, it's just so tiring, you know. But if you really want to have some fun, go to Jefferson Spatchcock's YouTube channel and watch his commentary about my interaction with Josh Bowen. It's hysterical. The hemorrhoidal pain that Jefferson is in because their beloved Josh Bowen, that talking head who shows up on all the atheist chat shows, was utterly humiliated. His atheism was just. There are teenagers who have defended atheism better than this guy did.
And he published an entire book now, the Atheist Handbook, in regards of the Old Testament.
Oh, and we briefly discussed that, and he backpedaled on that. And he goes, "Oh, Genesis 2 contradicts Genesis 1." I said, "How so?" And he goes, "Because it's out of chronological order." I said, "Where did you get the fact that Genesis 2 is chronological, okay, in the things that it states? I mean, Genesis 1 clearly is chronological." And he tried to pull, the Hebrew card, that because he knows Hebrew. I said, "Can you show me any Hebrew scholars that say that the Hebrew grammar necessitates that this is chronological?" And he completely backed off of it.
Yeah, he brought that Connard as well in Mid-Tuition, the channel. He was there too. And he spreads that all over. I've actually not seen yet how the Old Testament backs up atheism. I've yet to see an argument. I've never seen a concise defense of atheism from Josh.
Yeah. Look, as more and more Christians learn a proper understanding and application of the Christian worldview, and they practice, atheism and atheists are going to continue to be embarrassed for the fools that they are. Okay.
I really like the pre-sup approach, Darth, and I will more and more assimilate and also use it because I think it is sound.
Yeah, the interesting thing is this, Otangelo. I have a book on my Google Drive that I'd like you to read, okay? I'll give you a link to my drive, and I want you to go into the Van Til folder. And in the Van Til folder is a book called Van Til and the Use of Evidences. It's a short book. And in fact, this was a very, very rare book. And I had never read it before because I was trying to read more stuff on, Van Til's writings. And I really couldn't find it anywhere. And then I found a copy of it on Amazon for $45. So I bit the bullet and I scanned it onto my computer. But you really should read it because true biblical presuppositionalism, you don't have to abandon an appeal to evidences. Okay?
Right.
You can incorporate an array of appeal to evidences. And even in Bahnsen's own lectures, and Van Til himself says that we don't object to presenting evidences for God, but we must present them in a way that we do not compromise any biblical doctrine, such as the creator-creature distinction, nor caters to the autonomous false beliefs of unbelievers. So it's not presuppositionalism or evidentialism, okay? We welcome evidences, but the evidences have to be presented in a certain way that we do not grant unbelievers their false beliefs. So I'll tell you what, I will send that to, you know what, I'll send it to you right now.
Have you seen the Bahnsen and R.C. Sproul debate?
I've listened to a portion of it, and
they actually go into this.
Yeah, I didn't think that Sproul did a good job.
I think it's a good debate. I wouldn't post a winner or loser because I think Sproul does a lot more precept than he admits to.
Well, I mean, I like Sproul. I'm not a Calvinist, but setting that issue aside, brilliant guy, fascinating to listen to him on a lot of things. He's deceased now. I should say with the Lord. But if you get a copy of Van Til, An Analysis of His Thought by John Frame, he has a chapter devoted specifically to several critics of Van Til, who misrepresent Van Til, and Sproul is referenced in there as well, that he misrepresents Van Til, as well as Gerstner and John Wormwick Montgomery. If anyone wants a copy of that book, you can find that in the John Frame folder of my Google Drive. Okay, so let me get that book for you, Otan. I think you'll really like it. It's short.
I'll read it and I'll copy some things maybe to my library. Let's see.
Oh, hey, Darth. Adam here.
Yeah, just give me a second here while I get this book for Otangelo. Okay, let's see.
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
Hello.
What are you guys talking about?
The coherence or non-coherence of atheism. All right, the book's too big. I'm going to have to send you my link.
Okay.
Hey, Darth. I like I went ahead right away and
Yeah,
like
hold on one second. Just hold on a second. Otangelo, I sent you the link. You can find that book in the Van Til folder.
Van Til books. Let me open it. Just
In the Van Til folder, it should say Van Til and the use of evidences. Okay, there's a couple of different versions of it. I would pick the one that has the largest file size because that's the best quality.
Just a minute. I opened the file now. Van Til books. Where do I look now?
Go to the Van Til folder.
Van Til books, right?
Yes.
I'm in the Van Til books, but there are many other chapters and folders here. So it's in the Van Til books, right? There's Van Til books new, apologetic articles, and so forth. There are 3, 6, 9, 11, 13 different folders here. Which one is it?
All right, did you find it, Otangelo?
I was asking you in which. I'm here in folder
The
Van Til books.
Van Til folder.
Van Til folder. Okay, here is Van Til books, the one and the many. Til books new, apologetics articles, transcendental argument, why I believe in God, common misunderstanding.
Yeah.
Van Til
Van Til and the use of evidence. Okay. Pick the one that it's 23 megabytes. That's the best quality. Okay. Van Til and the use of evidence by Tom Notaro.
Ventil and the use of evidence. Okay. Okay, good. I'll download everything and then I look it up. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Somebody asked me a question.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Darth. It's Adam again. I just wanted a quick comment. I wanted to apologize for the end of our last conversation.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it was a low blow. Just to
Okay.
say that it wasn't to your satisfaction.
It's
I
okay.
admit,
Listen,
I
it's
admit that
okay.
was a low blow. One thing I've noticed though is you can be a little intimidating at times. So I think it might put people on the defensive in your approach. I mean, it's your approach, but
I'm a harmless fuzzball like Rush Limbaugh.
yeah, huh. Anyways,
Yeah, I don't mean to cut and run. I got to do something, but I'll be back in about 5-10 minutes.
later.
Wait, I wanted to ask you a question real quick. Sorry. Darth, regarding the books that you sent. Oh, he's left.
He has left.
You might have to ask him when he comes back.
That's okay. It's not urgent.
Well, the only thing that Darth always does after he finishes the streams here, he eats small babies.
Well, their bones are very soft.
Well, Angelo, actually, I could ask you because it's kind of just like a question of ethics. Yes. I don't know if my conscience is just bothering me, but like, I went ahead and downloaded all of the books that he sent, and it's like 40 gigabytes worth of books, and I'm just not sure if I should have done that.
Well, why not?
I don't know, like, because I didn't pay for them, but
What? You didn't what?
because I didn't pay.
I can barely understand what you say.
I think he said it's because you didn't pay, but I think it's legal to share books.
Oh, well, that's up to you. I mean,
But you don't.
I mean, if he has given these books for you to download as a gift, then why do you care if he paid for them or not? That's not your business and neither your problem,
yeah,
right?
I'm assuming he did, but yeah, yeah.
And I mean, even if he didn't pay for them and he gives them to you as a gift, is it your problem?
Yeah, I don't know. No.
I mean, I can give you another example. For example, I sold recently a land plot to someone, and that guy seemed to me like a criminal, and I was doubting afterwards how he made his money. So, is it morally a problem that I accepted his money because I don't know how he got the money?
Oh yeah, like dirty money.
I mean, I have no evidence, but I mean, what do you do in such a situation?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, it is really not your problem, you know?
Yeah, it seems fine. I was so excited though, like the amount of books in there, like I'm just like I could barely sleep last night. I was so excited.
I mean, I can tell for myself. I have a big library on my computer, which I actually don't share with anyone, but I got it by piracy. So, and people have accused me of stealing. So, how do we as Christians deal with that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, each one of us has to make a decision in regards of that. I have done it, and I just do the download, and that's it. But this is my personal thing. I mean, I don't accept that others tell me what to do in regards of that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I think, I mean, if you think that you are guilty or so by doing it, then just don't do it.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yo, so and on Tangelo, like who do you like to form your arguments based off of? Like, who's your favorite philosopher and apologetic?
Dawkins.
Darth Dawkins is good. I mean, but yeah, anybody else?
Christian philosopher, I had a big reference in William Lane Craig. There are many good, very good apologists out there. Batinga is good. There are many others. But I mean, my field is more science. I study more biochemistry. Now I'm more in physics. So I read actually more science papers. I like very much Paul Davies. He's excellent. His books are great. Yeah, basically.
You're Brazilian, right?
No, I am actually Swiss Italian. I just live in Brazil now for 25 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you know Portuguese?
Yes.
Or Spanish?
Yes. I speak Portuguese. Yes, I speak Spanish, German, Italian. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what happened anyway during the course of this day, but they never actually responded to the argument. You know, we were waiting for quite a long time. We were asking for their argument. We obviously offered refutation after refutation, and then I don't know, like maybe I've got a question about you know, obviously I don't hold the position that everybody necessarily. Well, let's wait and see on whether I hold to what position or not. I don't know what I think at the minute, but this is it, right? So, do people know God from birth? Absolutely, or is it something that you come to an understanding of over your lifetime, potentially?
I think you know enough for your condemnation, that no one's without excuse. I think at the end of the day, everyone's going to have some sort of moral culpability for either what they believe or what they've done. So that's what Romans 1, Romans 2 says.
Very interesting. I've heard some stuff like, you know, basically, you can have, what is it? If you're, is it immaculate innocence or ignorance or something? Infallible ignorance or something, which basically makes you so unaware of what's going on that you're automatically granted a chance of salvation.
No, I don't. I mean, unless there's some sort of a mental difficulty or something like that, I think that everyone has the capability to, or has a level of culpability.
Very interesting. So do you think everybody has knowledge of God from birth, or do you think that they sort of can understand that God must exist given a certain framework?
Yeah, that I'm not entirely set on.
Yeah, me
I know
neither.
that
I go
in
with
some
the
parts of
side
the,
where it's
in some
like-
parts, I say that by and large, the Bible deals with people who actively reject God's revelation, and so you have, for example, the Gospel that talk about people who Jesus will confront and they will decide not to follow him. You have the Pharisees, for example, the rich young ruler, for example. Those are like the really popular ones, right, that everyone can relate to. So I would say that there's a lot of relevance when it comes to rejection. But yeah, I don't know, or I'm not committal on other instances.
Yeah, that's interesting. I need to like look up more about that. I don't know if anybody else knows anything about that sort of stuff, but that's currently what I'm looking into at the minute. So if anyone knows anything, let me know. You know, obviously, Robin, seeing as you're the only person talking at the minute, maybe you could tell me what's your favourite verse in the Bible, and I'll note it down and take a look at that later.
Said my favorite verse.
Yeah, favorite verse, favorite chapter, why. I'll take a look at it and try and look for that.
I don't know if because I have a lot of stuff that I like highlight.
There's too much good stuff. He doesn't want to let on. Okay, well, it was worth a try.
Why is it when you find why is it
At the minute, my favourite ones are Isaiah 53. You know, that one's pretty interesting.
Oh, the whole chapter?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So, yeah, pretty interesting stuff. Especially when it was written and stuff like that. Yeah, prophecy, pretty interesting.
I think Muslims will even say that prophesies Muhammad, which is just crazy.
Yeah, they're just trolls. You know, at this stage, they're just. So yeah.
Or when Jesus says, like, I'm going to send a comforter, he's talking about instead of talking about the Holy Spirit, he's talking about Muhammad, prophesying Muhammad.
So I'm not in any kind of bad way for saying that God gives us some knowledge, and through that knowledge we can reason to conclusions about, you know, certain things. Like God gives us the ability to use logic to reason conclusions, and through those things that He bestows us, that base set of knowledge, then you can reason to the position that the Christian God must exist. Right? I'm not at fault here in any way.
I think we talked about that earlier, or I think probably last week. And so one thing I will say is that I don't think that you can reason autonomously to what is fundamental.
Ultimate, okay. Well, I do think that, and we might disagree there. That's I think you can. You know, God's given you enough there so that you know that God must exist.
Okay, well then let me ask you this: what ultimately will you be basing your observation on before you come to the knowledge that God exists, or before you accept that God exists? Which is also why I would say that, you know, to some extent that everyone knows, but just exactly how that works, I'm not, you know, I wouldn't be able to answer that to you. But I would say that to some extent, you know, everyone has moral culpability. But so yeah, what would you be using?
That's why I think everybody in their life gets a chance, you know. So that's sort of where I go with that. I think everybody gets a good chance, fair chance. You know, God is just and all of that, and then, you know, you think about it a lot, and, you know, you should end up there. So yeah.
Right, but I'm saying on the issue of foundational, what is foundational to all facts. Before you come to the acceptance of acknowledgement of God as foundational, what are you going to be using ultimately that was going to interpret and ground the observations that you make?
Yeah, I think the argument is basically that God is the ultimacy. You know, it's not like anything's He's not contingent. All things are contingent on God. So that's not really correct.
No, I'm saying, what are you going to appeal to? Of course, God's
question.
I'm saying, yeah. Okay, let me see if I can, because what I understand you to be espousing is this idea that you can start from neutral territory and then work your way towards the acknowledgement of God's existence. And maybe I'm sure people have done that, right? But I would say that you might have
I mean,
a slight
maybe we can
misconception
put a
of God's
pin in it
position.
because, like, I will do that with you at some stage. You know, I've sort of got my friend around a bit. I was sort of just trying to, you know, ask a couple of things there about the Bible and what Darth thought about how that worked. But I don't think he's replying. You know, it was interesting hearing what you had to think. I think that's quite in line with what I was saying. Slightly different words.
I under.
All right.
Wait, sorry. Am I cutting you off?
No, go ahead.
The way I understand it as a biblical presuppositionalist is that nobody is neutral, and neutrality is a myth, and nobody works their way from neutrality to belief in God. Um, so, yeah, I don't think that is the biblical presuppositional position that you work from neutrality.
Right, exactly.
Right, because in the presuppositionalist view, we affirm what the scripture says, that everyone knows God, his existence, the God of the Bible, not just any God. So even an atheist, the reason you can know things is because the God of the Bible does exist. You don't have to affirm that or believe in him for that to be true. The reason you know things is because the God of the Bible exists. Whether or not you affirm that. I don't know if that. Yeah.
I agree with you. I don't know who the atheist is that you was explaining.
No, I was just, you know, I wasn't.
Just saying. Sure.
Yeah. In general.
Yeah, I mean, it necessarily follows, doesn't it? I think that they will agree with that any truth or knowledge that they have would necessarily stand in causal relations from that which is primary and ultimate. I mean, that's necessarily true. They just want to say that, you know, it's not God kind of thing, you know, for some reason, you know. Which is such a weird position, isn't it? To assert the non-position of something, you know? It's like, how do you feel? You know, not bad. It's like, how do you feel? Not upset. How do you feel? You know what I mean? It's like, it's just saying what it's not.
Yeah, I mean, there's some instances where referring to the non is the only way we can explain something. So, for example, infinity, we don't have any other way to explain infinity other than it's non-finite, right?
I guess so, yeah.
So there's some instances where, yeah, that you know, that's useful.
Sure. It's just interesting how atheists, when you ask them, you know, what is, and then they often say what's not, and you're like, yeah, but I'm asking what is, kind of thing. You know?
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is that a lot of times they will say, "I don't know what is ultimate," but then they'll immediately on the other, you know, on the flip of a coin, they'll say, "Yeah, no, but it's not God," which is completely irrational.
Yeah, I was actually having this.
But you know,
I was having this with Andrew in text a minute ago. He's basically saying that both me and Darth are not begging. We're what's that thing when you argument from ignorance, and we're not. So it's, you know, for example, I said so he basically posted an argument from ignorance and says that's what we're doing, and I said no, right? We're saying if you don't know X is, but if you haven't disproven X, you can't say that Y doesn't stand in causal relations to X because you haven't disproven X. And they say that that's an argument from ignorance. And I'm like, no, it's not, because I'm not concluding X.
yeah,
I'm not concluding Y. I'm concluding if you haven't disproven X, you can't say X is not necessary for Y. That's all I'm saying. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, what you just need to do is ask them, because a lot of times that happens. Like they'll accuse you of arguing from ignorance or begging the question or shifting the burden of proof. I mean, you just have to ask them, first of all, if they can define what those fallacies are, because I mean, I think half of the time they're going to stop there. They're not going to actually know the definition. Yeah. And then after that, right? If they have a good definition, you have to ask them, what specifically did I say that would show that this is the fallacy I'm guilty of committing.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, most of the time when that happens to me, I ask them those two questions, and they kind of their critique or their criticism dissolves right then and there.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with you. It's interesting because, like, if Darth asks those questions and they squirm out of it and they struggle and it all gets kind of all fireworks and that, but it's awkward because, like, they're reasonable questions and you wanna ask them, you wanna show them, and it's like if you don't hold them to it, then they just won't answer them. And then obviously if you you try and hold them to them, let's say how Darth will try and hold them to it, then again it's all fireworks and that. So it's kind of an awkward one. Yeah.
Right.
You can't win either way. Either everything's vague and nothing gets resolved, or you have to kind of be like a little bit of a stickler for an answer kind of thing, and that just upsets people.
Exactly. I invited Jefferson Spatchcock to the Politics and Religion VC. He says he's not going to be available until 5 p.m. I don't know what time zone he's on, but he's able to talk quite a lot on the text chat here on the YouTube, like on the live stream that's going on, and I just wanted to see. I want to hear his voice, and hear his actual argument. But, a lot of what he's saying here doesn't sound very substantive. Okay, just gonna put it out there. So,
Well, it's really silly, isn't it? An atheist come into a debate where their position is that they don't know what grounds their ability to reason or what is ultimately true, and and then they're going to come and debate. It's just kind of. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
it's like turning up to a boxing match and saying,
exactly.
"Hey, I've got a glass jaw. I don't even know anything." You know what I mean? I can't. It's crazy.
Yep.
And then you get all the kind of snide, kind of like, "Oh, well, you're in the same predicament too." And it's like, okay, like one, you don't know that, and you know what I mean. Most of them are solipsists anyway, so they're going to kind of hold to. They're going to say, because I think you don't know, then it's okay that I don't know. I mean, really? I mean, like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's an issue. We have a solution to the problem of solipsism, at least or solipsism, the Christian worldview does, because we know that we are creatures of God, right? So we are not under that problem that the atheist would have. Okay, Muzz Dickinson says, "Yeah, but nobody does it." Are you referring to the problem of solipsism? You're saying nobody has an answer to solipsism, or you're saying no one has the answer to what is ultimate? And if you want to talk, because there's a link in the description. You can join the VC. It's the Politics and Religion server. Okay, how would you be able to defend that? How do you know that nobody knows? Do you have an argument for that?
So look, honestly, I don't know what's gone on here, but it's pretty dead. What is it? So basically,
Prove it.
for a while there, what we were looking at was, is it possible for the atheists to create an argument and bring it forward, that could refute the Christian position? Now, obviously, they couldn't, and it really led into heckling and all sorts. And Dawkins got involved, and they basically, they got trolled out by Darth because they're just heckling trolls. So basically, is there anybody that has got an argument? That's the thing
I
that I'm
have.
gonna
I have.
bring it back
Yeah,
around.
I have. Yeah, God killed babies, and therefore he doesn't exist, or he's evil.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Well, that's a really interesting point. I mean, even if he killed babies, is that necessarily bad? I mean, what standard do you judge his morality?
Thou shalt not kill.
So basically, thou shalt not kill. Yeah, so what is it? You then look, so you're trying to bring in the Christian context. You're saying that the Christian law supersedes the authority that dictates it. That's what you're saying. do you think that the God of Christianity supersedes the law that he set in place on this earth?
Yeah, I don't answer questions. I just throw insults at the Christian worldview. I normally just try and find a way to avoid the question.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Finally, Darth left. That's awesome. I mean, we can fucking talk now, right?
Well, can you tell
Depends if
me
you're a troll.
what it is? At Joy Division, can you tell me what it is that ontologically exists that is singularly ultimate, absolute, non-contingent, non-conditionally non-dependent, that institutes and secures what is and can and cannot be? I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
Reality.
That's like
Okay, can we get some mods?
Hey, anybody who's added to the troll list, change your name to suppressive person. It's a term used by Scientology that they label people who are critics.
I was surprised with Foxy. I mean, Foxy, what the fuck, man?
The truth is, like, if we don't kind of pander to Darth's wishes, especially on his birthday, basically there would just be world war and the server will be nuked and that. But it doesn't mean that we pander. I mean, you know, we could get him off the server, but there's no need because he's an old man. He's not looking for a fight. He's actually looking for a discourse on that question. What is ultimate? That's what he really wants. He doesn't really
Controlled
want
by
to fight.
him.
Well, they're true dichotomies. If you know, so it's X or not X. If you affirm X not X down the chain, your worldview will be nuked. You know, it's just the case.
Yeah, he wants the discourse controlled by him.
Mhm. I mean, you know what he would say? He would say you could just go to another room and control your own.
Hey,
Yeah,
just
like
call
at the
me a
end of the
troll.
day, the Discord needs to be trolled. It needs to be controlled by Darth because you guys are all the really big trolls. You come in, you heckle, you don't make
Wait a
arguments.
minute,
We've been
who's?
waiting all
I mean,
day.
are you
We've been
fucking for
waiting all
real?
day for
Who's
an
a troll?
argument. Okay.
Like, name a troll that is really a fucking
Go
troll.
boys.
It doesn't need to be controlled by Darth.
That's a claim.
Yeah. Well, wait, why does it need to be controlled by Darth?
No, I
Well-
want to know: am I a troll, Foxy?
Yeah. I mean, Joy Division, do you exist?
Yeah, of
boys.
course I do.
Okay, well, when you say of course, what you're saying is it's obvious, which means you don't have an argument, right?
Hey.
Did he say that?
I think
do
it's
you
going to
mean?
follow. It will follow.
What do you
Well,
mean?
do you have an argument that you exist?
It doesn't
Yeah.
need an argument.
Oh, great! So
Well,
you
yeah,
get to
it's
just
just kind of
anything.
self-evident that I exist.
That begs the question, doesn't it? That assumes you exist in the thing.
No question begging, sir. I can hear him. How childish of you.
I mean, I don't understand. Like, do you want me to explain it to you?
I mean, if you've got an argument that you exist, I tell you what, if you've got an argument that concludes with "therefore I know I exist," I'll be impressed.
Wow, how
Well,
pitiful.
I mean,
I mean,
that's a
what
start.
depths has Christianity sunk to need
Nice
to
play.
deny
Nice play,
that
Simon.
people exist?
Yeah.
What a
I mean,
joke you are.
In their
It's
mind,
quite a
they
false
know they exist because their minds are working fine because of their revelation and shit. But us, our brains maybe not, maybe they're not working. Maybe we don't know what the fuck is going on at all. So now that's a new narrative they're going with.
Yeah, which is valid. It's completely valid criticism of the solipsistic atheistic worldview.
No, I mean, I don't understand. What do you mean, atheistic worldview? I mean, being
Yeah.
an atheist, or let's put it this way, I'm atheist agnostic because uh, I disbelieve in existence of what you guys are talking that exists, and you're just saying it does exist. But if it was somehow proven to me and I was you know explained and shown that it does, then of course that's that agnostic part. But what I'm saying is, you know, how can I believe in something that you can't even fucking bring any evidence for? I mean,
Well,
it's
wait.
just
When
ridiculous.
you're
So
but that is the
atheist is
caveat.
just being I disbelieve in existence of you know